obviously I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you to the AAFP for inviting me. And I was actually really excited because of the theme of this year's conference, the Love Your Why. And it's good because I have a lot of experience in loving my why, like no matter what it is. For example, every time I have to answer the question, oh, what did you major in college? Biology? I always have to reply and say, no, German. So then people will say, well, why? So then I give an honest answer, and I just say, well, it's because when I was young, I really wanted to be a professional tennis player. Steffi Graf was my favorite player. She was German, and I really wanted to be able to speak with her in the locker room. So of course, I'm going to learn German. And usually people don't know what to respond to after that. But that's OK. I mean, I was like, really serious about being a professional tennis player. So, well, except for the actual practicing of it part. But in 7th grade, we had to take one of those career aptitude tests. And one of the questions says, like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you enjoy lifting heavy objects? So I was like, of course, I'm going to be a professional athlete, so I'm going to circle 5, because I'm going to be lifting weights, I'm going to be toned, I'm going to be a professional tennis player. So I was a little surprised when I got the results back. And it said the career that I was most suited for was to be a lumberjack. But you know what? That's OK, because I was like, they haven't gotten there yet. Like, my dreams are so big that they haven't decided that maybe a 7th grader would want to be a professional athlete one day. It was too much out of the box, and that's OK. You know what? Those things didn't get me down. In fact, it was really much the opposite. So this is a picture from my high school yearbook, Parkway Central, class of 1999. And I know what you're thinking when you look at this. You're like, oh my God, like Anita can fly. Like her feet are not on the ground. That is amazing. And it's really exciting because that's actually why I really love tennis. I love things where you can do things that humans aren't supposed to do. I love microseconds when you're able to fly. I think that's amazing. And I think that's magic. And I think that that is rare. And when it happens, you have to treasure it. So fast forward 20 years, spoiler alert, I didn't become a professional tennis player. Double spoiler alert, Steffi Graf speaks English, and it's way better than my German. But that's OK, because I had a lot of practice in loving my why. So now when people ask me, family medicine, why? I'm honest again. And I tell them, it's because I want to be a part of the team that helps find a cure for violence against women. I believe it's an infection. I think it gets underdiagnosed. And I believe that family medicine is the specialty that will help lead us to a cure. I believe that we can live in a world where things like networks of domestic violence shelters and safe houses aren't even needed because every house is safe. I believe that we can come up with things like arguing about why do we even need a Violence Against Women Act because we don't even have that anymore. And I believe that it will be more normal to have kids who want to grow up and major in German and become a professional tennis player than it is to say, me too. I believe that. So about 5 years ago, I was really lucky. I did my family medicine residency in New York City in a federally qualified health center. And I went back there, and I asked if it would be OK if I could start a special clinic. It would be called the Purple Clinic. And it would be to provide family medicine care for people who had experienced human trafficking, domestic violence, and sexual assault. I thought I was going to try to live my why. And at first, it was amazing. All these people were connecting with care that I didn't anticipate. They were from the US and from abroad, and different insurance, documentation statuses, every gender and every age, and it was amazing. But then as time went on, I don't know how to describe it, but I can draw it for you. So this is kind of how I felt. This is kind of the opposite of flying. Like, when you love your why, you can fly, but sometimes you have moments when you're in the thick of it where you can't fly anymore. And that used to happen to me. And a lot of it was because I don't know if anyone has heard of the term things like quality metrics, But it was really hard because I felt like my patients kept being invisibilized in these quality metrics that I was getting. It felt like that lumberjack thing all over again, where these tests and these measures didn't account for the things that were in my head or what my patients were saying they were dreaming about. So if your why doesn't help you fly anymore, then you go to plan B. You start to ask, why not? So I started doing that. It's like, why not imagine something where your patients are the ones who decide what is quality? They help design the rooms and the doors, and they tell you everything that you need to know without you typing it, with you just looking at them. Like, I think that that is a bold, exciting thing to dream about. And it's sad that it's bold. So that's how I want to reimagine healthcare. And so I took a leap, and I decided to try and work on designing a nonprofit clinic that could do that, that could reflect what our patients are saying that they want. So the clinic doesn't exist yet. Maybe it will one day. I really hope maybe next year is the year. But I can't tell you. Like, I'm so excited to be able to reunite with my patients and to be able to hear, like, what is your dream job, and then do something about it. And I'm really excited because I'm pretty sure one day one of them will grow up to be my family doctor, and they might even be yours. And I think that's magic. That is why I love my why, and that is why I'm a family medicine doctor. So it's my great honor, speaking of magic, to be able to finally introduce our keynote for today, Mr. Michael Eisner. So many of you know Mr. Eisner as the former CEO and chairman of the Walt Disney Company. And he had tremendous successes there, but I think one of the most amazing things is he brought magic into our homes for like 21 years. I think that's why I'm obsessed with things that fly that shouldn't, like magic carpets. I mean, it breaks your imagination on what's possible in the world. These days, he's the founder and CEO of the Toronto Company, and he's a leader again in the arts and entertainment. But something that I think is also amazing is he co-founded the Eisner Foundation with his wife, Jane. And one of the things that they fund is a federally qualified health center, Eisner Health, among many of the other philanthropic things that they support, including the arts and education. And we as family docs recognize all of that is integral into someone's whole person health and well-being. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Michael Eisner.